Hello friends, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Dimple Khosla, Assistant Professor in Commerce, Dayal Singh College, Karnal. The topic of the today is ethics at workplace. By going through this lecture, you will come to know the meaning of ethics, understand the ethics at workplace, understand the need of ethics at workplace. Then we will study how many factors are there that affect ethics at workplace. Then we will understand the ways to prevent unethical practices at workplace, to know how to identify the characteristics of an unethical employee, and then we will go forward to understand the challenges at workplace. Now let us start with the meaning of ethics. Ethics means the general philosophy that explains what is right and what is wrong in anybody's code of conduct. It involves systematic study of individual behavior and recommends that a particular individual behavior is right or wrong. The topic is how to identify the characteristics of an unethical employee. If a company wants to identify that to what extent their employees are ethical, they must go for the following. Company must create a list of characteristics that must be present in an employee. That list may be known as Code of Ethics. It should also consist of what is expected from them and what will be the consequences of finding anyone guilty. An ethical survey could be taken consisting of role-playing and situation reaction type questions. For example, giving them a situation that if they find some kind of stealing in the office, what will be their first step? The survey's question must match to the atmosphere of the workplace so that judgment can be related to the situation. Survey should be reviewed very well, because it will help to know how much familiar are the employees with the organization's code of conduct. To encourage better ethical practices at workplace, time-to-time training, seminars, workshops could be arranged. CCTV cameras could be installed wherever required to keep a check on the activities of the employees and to closely watch out their behavior, so that the difference between their saying and doing could be judged. By following these tips, judgment could be made to a large extent regarding the ethical attitude of an employee. Philosophy has many branches, and one of its very important branches is ethics. What does it mean by ethics? The answer is quite simple, that ethics means the general philosophy that explains what is right and what is wrong in anybody's code of conduct. It involves systematic study of individual behavior and recommends that a particular individual's behavior is right or wrong. How can a human lead his life? And in some particular situation, what actions will be considered appropriate and what will be considered inappropriate are the major issues covered by the term ethics. Thus, ethics of any business is to enable individuals to distinguish between right or wrong, good or evil, justice and crime, and vice and virtue. In this chapter, we will study ethics at workplace and understand the following concepts, that is, need of ethics at workplace, factors affecting ethics at workplace, and ways to prevent unethical practices at workplace. Ethics at workplace. A person can be a serviceman, professional, or a businessman. Ethical behavior is important everywhere. It may lead to career enhancement and improving the environment in which one works. With development of ethics, whether one is doing any service or is running any business, working in service sector or working in business sector, he can improve his productivity and effectiveness. At workplace, ethics can be developed by developing some habits or etiquettes, like meetings. In any service or business organization, there are meetings at regular intervals, so one must be ready for the meetings well in advance by studying the agenda. If any documents are required to be brought in the meeting, these should be gathered and duly arranged in the required order. One must reach in time and must wait for his turn to speak rather than to interrupt others. Next is communication. Ethics describes what to communicate and what not to communicate. Indulging in gossips, backbiting, spreading wrong information about fellow workers, asking unnecessary questions or details that are already available in the rules and regulations in the company's code of conduct are considered unethical. Time management. Professional ethics says that one should be very good in managing time. One must know the time of arrival as well as the departure at the workplace and should plan his whole work according to the allotted time, keeping in view of official breaks like lunch break, official meetings, etc. Safety of co-workers. Company design his policy to give a safe and sound atmosphere to its employees. So if anyone finds any misconduct on anybody's part, he should immediately report to the management. It is not necessary that there is always a misconduct. There may also chances that one sees something which can cause harm to anyone, like some sparking, some leakage or anything of the kind. It should be brought into the notice of the authorities so that required actions could be taken. The next topic is need of ethics at workplace. Every organization follows a certain set of rules and policies, also known as ethics, that is distinct from its competitors and enables it to project its true potential to its clients. These rules and policies keep employees on track in achieving organization goal and helps it in earning its share of profits in the market. Without these rules, an organization will not be able to monitor employees and their activities or to follow on their commitments to their clients or judge a behavior of worker and supervisor, and due to this, whole organization will be affected and business will come to halt. That's why ethics are needed at workplace. There are other reasons too which answer the above questions, and they are described below. Number one, it is credibility in the public. Ethical values of organization creates credibility in the eyes of the public. People like to buy the stuff from the company which they believe is honest and transparent and is offering value for their money. Because of this reason, only the companies dealing in food products spend large sum on advertisements nowadays to convince people that their goods are safe and are healthy also. Next point is credibility with the employees. When employees are convinced of the ethical values of the organization they are working for, they hold the organization in high esteem. Perceived social uprightness and moral values can win the employees more than any incentive plans. The next point is better decision making. Respect for ethics will force the management in taking sound decisions by keeping in mind the interests of various stakeholders like shareholders of the company, employees, customers, clients, the host country of the business and company's own long-term good. Next is profitability. Ethical companies are more successful in terms of profits than those who doesn't have any concerns of rules and policies. ethical companies' organizational structure is perfectly planned and defined, which keeps them on track and prevent unhealthy practices like cheating the company, abusive behavior, undue credit and insider trading, etc., by punishing the guilty with predefined clauses mentioned in company's code of conduct. Then there comes protection of society. Ethics can protect the society in a better way than even the legal system of the country. Where law fails, ethics succeed. A HR manager who is ethically sound can reach out to agitated employees more effectively than police. Other reasons are ethics cultivate strong teamwork and productivity. Ethics promote coordination and harmony among employees. Ethics promote organizational growth. Ethics help in avoiding criminal practices. Now we will study what are the various factors that affect ethics at workplace. To err is human is common phrases that describe humans make mistakes. No matter how accomplished a person is, he or she make mistakes to accomplish something in their lives. It can be either for power, prestige or something else. Here all those factors are mentioned and explained which enables a human, manager or employee at workplace to forsake his ethics at workplace for some personal gain. Like the number one is personal goals. Personal goals are the first factor that affects ethics at workplace. Goals are desired results or outcome that a person or an organization plans or commit to achieve. Goals are something where all the activities of an organization is directed. Personal goals of the people working in an organization can either affect organizational ethical structure or make it strong. For example, if personal goal of an employee is money, and then there may be a possibility that in future he can resort to unhealthy practices like insider trading to achieve his goals. That's why it is important for a manager to keep a check on his employees' personal goals as it can make or break the organization. Number two is values. Values are an individual's judgment or standard of behavior. This factor affects ethical behavior, like some people used to lie to their clients about their competitors' products just to entice them in purchasing their own products. This kind of activity is unethical as it hampers clients' ability to make a sound decision in selecting the product he requires for fulfilling his need. Morals. Morals are individual characteristics that can affect an individual's ethics. Morals are the rules people develop as a result of cultural norms and values and are traditionally what employees learn from their childhood, culture, religion, etc. They are usually described as good or bad behavior. Would you have good morals in making people buy the product that affects their religion or hurting your colleagues' religious sentiments? Perhaps not. The next point is personality. Employees' personality is another factor that affects ethics at workplace. Some employees are risk takers and some prefers the safe route. Employees who prefer taking risks are more likely to involve in unethical practices than those choosing the safe route. For example, if an employee goes beyond the authority granted to him just to get a business contract is more likely to be termed unethical as his chances to succeed are less. Next point is relationship between employees and managers. It is the duty of a manager to reward his employees for getting the work done and to guide them in case he make mistakes while doing his work. This type of activity induces good relations between managers and employees. A manager must treat his employees with respect they deserve, because if he doesn't do this, it can induce unethical conduct which can hamper organization work. For example, coming late to work or gossiping while working may be employee's way of getting back at his managers for treating him with disrespect. The another factor is society. Society is the most important factor that influence ethical policy of an organization. Any work done by an organization is reviewed by the society. If an organization is involved in unethical means, it is the society only which brings that organization under the ambit of the law. For example, releasing waste in water bodies is termed unethical by the society as it destroys marine ecosystems and pollutes the drinking water. That is why it must for an organization to study this factor thoroughly and include it in its ethical policy. The next topic comes ways to prevent unethical practices at workplace. Unethical practices can plague the workplace, whether an executive steals money from the company or an associate falsifies the documents. Unethical practices costs the company to lose its credibility in the market, causing the business to lose the customers and ultimately closing down the operations. However, directors, business experts, managers and employees can work together to prevent unethical behavior. Create a code of conduct. A written code of conduct provides employees and managers an overview of the type of conduct the company expects. The next topic is challenges in workplace ethics. It is true that every organization wants to have its code of ethics and expects every employee to follow it. But this is also true that it is not an easy job. Even a person of good integrity sometimes faces lapses in workplace ethics. No organization is perfect, and there are certain setbacks in workplace ethics everywhere. Different kinds of challenges organizations face time to time, like fraud in accounts, wasting time by increasing the duration of lunch breaks, misuse of organization's assets. In every organization, we may find some untrustworthy employees who become the cause of lapses in the workplace ethics. Sometimes, some employees are unable to cope with the principles and practices followed by the organization. This again leads to the lapses in ethics at workplace. It is also often seen that some unfair treatment, discrimination or favoritism is done on the part of the managers, which again is a setback in workplace ethics. Some types of failures to comply with workplace ethics are not so relevant or visible, but most of the times it certainly affects one's essence as an individual, as an employee and as an human being. It further leads to deterioration in the quality of the work performed by them. Unethical behavior by one person causes problems for the co-workers too. Summary. Workplace ethics are the core requirement for any organization. One must follow the code of conduct with full honesty. If someone fails to practice these ethics, it affects his self-image as well as his co-workers. If one starts making excuses, start giving himself some silly reasons and tries to suppress his own inner voice to conscience, then it means there is certainly a lapse in one's workplace ethics and his actions are gone substandard. A company's ethics will determine its reputation. Good business ethics are essential for the long-term success of an organization. Implementing an ethical program will foster a successful company culture and increase profitability. Developing a business ethic program takes time and efforts, but doing so will do more than improve business. It will change lives. Every level of business is one way or another affected by the ethics of the company. All concerned parties, whether they are employees, customers, clients, suppliers, owners, competitors, are influenced by the ethical behavior of one another. Similarly, all have to play a vital role in the development of a workplace code of conduct. It is not a one-way track. So in today's competitive world, one has to be very clear about his own code of conduct along with following the code of conduct prescribed by the workplace. Workplace ethics are the core requirement for any organization. One must follow the code of conduct with full honesty. If someone fails to practice these ethics, it affects his self-image as well as his co-workers. A company's ethics will determine its reputation. Good business ethics are essential for the long-term success of an organization. Implementing an ethical program will foster a successful company culture and increase profitability. Developing a business ethics program takes time and effort, but doing so will do more than improve business. It will change lives. Ethics of any business is to enable individuals to distinguish between right or wrong, good or evil, justice and crime, and vice and virtue. At workplace, ethics can be developed by developing some habits or etiquettes. Professional ethics says that one should be very good in managing time. Code of conduct of any organization should also consist of what is expected from them and what will be the consequences of finding anyone guilty. To encourage better ethical practices at workplace, time to time training, seminar, workshops could be arranged. Thank you.